So yesterday we talked with Mike Richmond. And by the way, thank you to one of our listeners. I saw this. I forgot to mention it. 4 of the last 6 title coaches have been fired.
2 years later.
2 years later.
Yeah.
And this one from Mr. Malik Andrews, our good friend Dave McMiniman. Mike Malone, 1 in 2023, fired in 25. Bud, 21, fired in 23. Vogel, 20, fired in 22. Nurse, 1 in 19, fired in 2023. Tyronn Lue, 16, fired in 18.
Yeah.
So winning a title means absolutely nothing. It is very hockey-esque what the NBA is doing right now. But we talked with Mike Richmond yesterday. You can find that podcast up on YouTube or 1080thefan.com. And we said, do you think they're going to extend him? And I thought his point of they probably would have done that at the same time as Cronin to like say.
Would have made sense.
You know, one of those politician pictures where they're holding hands and they raise their hands together. We're together. Vote for us.
On to victory.
We're taking big corporate dollars and we're lying to you. And that's what you would imagine they would do, but maybe they're going to wait till the end of the year and surprise us and extend Chauncey Billups.
Yep.
But you keep mentioning, like, there's teams that are winning titles with these coaches, and then a couple years later, it's not good enough. Bye-bye. Mike Malone is about as highly regarded a coach in that league as you could possibly get. And I saw a lot of, man, the Blazers better call. And maybe they will. But I'm just going to throw this out there. What about Mike Malone's personality type strikes you as, yeah, Burt Cold really wants to deal with that?
None of it. None of it at all.
Okay.
No, I understand that.
Neil Olshey
None of it
almost
at all.
hired Mike Malone in 2012. Did you guys know that before Terry Stotts?
Yeah.
But he ultimately said, I couldn't do this because 2 Irish guys could not possibly work together when they run as hot as we run.
Yeah.
So, like, Mike Malone was that in 2012. He's gotten a title since. He's only become more of,
I know what the hell I'm doing. Get the hell out of my way. This is my team.
Yes.
There's a lot of that with
Cronin's personality, I think, is one that could work with Malone, but you're right. If Cronin, if his extension and he's allowed, if this is his deal.
Which it should be. He's the general manager.
He's the general manager.
Team. He should be able to
why
choose
is Cronin's
a head coach.
personality type good with Malone, but Calvin Booth's not? I don't think you know what Calvin Booth sounds like when he talks.
I had never seen a picture of Calvin Booth until he got fired yesterday.
As the GM?
Yeah, I didn't remember what he looked like.
Well,
you
I
remember
think
from playing days?
Not really, no.
Oh, yeah.
I don't.
remember
I
a lot of
think
Calvin Booth.
I don't think it was personality. I think they had a genuine disagreement in philosophy of what they're trying to do.
But why do you think that would not happen with Cronin?
They would figure that out before he got hired. Like Malone would come in and, I mean, obviously you look at the roster of the team. There's no Jokic on there for crying out loud. So the question for Malone is how far away from being competitive, truly
Is this even
competitive.
a job you'd want if you're Mike Malone?
That's the question. How many other things could he get pitched?
Ownership group could be in flux in like 3
is
years.
Is Philly gonna, finally be done? Buttonhole's probably out in Phoenix. What are they gonna do? Yeah, there could be a lot more attractive.
If I'm Mike
opportunities.
Malone, I do the media tour for a year.
Yeah,
He seems like
take
he'd
a
be
step
good on
away,
TV,
dude. Go hang out in the background.
Dude,
wait
he could
until
be the
another
coach
job
Charles
opens
Barkley, a little red ass on TV saying,
That'd be
I wouldn't
great.
have done that. You know,
Yeah,
I
this
don't
guy's
really
a
get
bum.
that.
Calling people out. If I were him, I wouldn't jump right back
Wonder
into
if
coaching
NBC Amazon's on the horn.
unless the right opportunity pops up for him.
Well, the Blazers might be in a position where they're looking for a coach, Dirt.
We have no clue. But
We have no clue. But I'm asking sincerely, they didn't interview for general manager.
Nope.
They gave it an interim guy, and then they just said, it's yours. Now, a lot of people like Joe Cronin. I'm rooting for Joe Cronin. He's done some really good things in my mind. I also think it's a little organizational malpractice to not even have an interview process for debatably the most important job.
Let's hear a multitude of visions and opinions and thoughts about the direction this thing is going.
And if it's Joe,
that's great.
that's awesome.
Give him the job.
But they didn't do that. And so I'm asking, are they going to have an open interview process for their coaching gig, or do they have somebody that if it's not Chauncey, they know who they're going to hire?
It's going to be interesting on Sunday. Their final game of the season is on Sunday. If I remember correctly, they usually do exit interviews immediately after the game. Like, that's it.
Yeah, and it's a home game, so
they're here. The media's going to be there.
Monday. Well, the media will be there.
Is it not right after the game? I feel like they do it after the last home game of the year.
Depends who it is. They
it's
have that
usually
locker clear-out
back at
day,
the.
remember?
It's usually back at the training facility.
So
the
that whole
next
thing
day.
is because they've extended Cronin. So if you don't make a decision on Chauncey literally after the final game of the regular season, he's then going in front
I
of
don't
the
know
media.
why they
I don't
haven't
expect
made up
an
their
answer
mind.
actually at the goodbye.
I mean, why would we expect anything to be rationally done here? Nothing has been. So
Well, I'm just saying, I don't think on Monday when they do those exit interviews, I think we're going to get a lot of dancing around that topic because they don't want to come out and make a big deal of.
Well, now you're hanging him out to dry. I mean, you're essentially asking him to go answer questions about, hey, how'd the season go and how's next season going to go? But am I going to be here next season? He doesn't know if he's going to be here. Cronin's going to be non-committal.
You can't have that press conference.
Make a decision. I just this whole
Why
thing.
can't you have that press conference?
If I'm Chauncey, I'm not doing it.
He's under contract. He's the head coach of the team. It's a media obligation by the league.
I don't want to dismiss what you guys are saying. That's an easy dance around if I'm them. Well, we're going to get together and we're going to have to talk and we're going to make sure both sides we're really happy with how this season
I
has
know what
gone.
they'll say. I just
it's
think
an
it's
easy
ridiculous.
dance around for a coach and general manager.
How do you not know at this point what you want to do?
They do.
That's my point.
Well,
then why don't you do it?
Then do it.
Well, because you don't.
What?
Do you want that attention?
What
You're
attention?
gonna
Nobody's
get it no
paying
matter
attention
what.
to you. You're irrelevant.
Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe you guys are right here. I just think it's an easy dance
cares
around, and
if
it
it's-
just
Look, I know you're right. I mean,
comes
they're gonna
out.
look. Neil O'Shea once drank a bottle of water and said shut down questions about Chauncey Billups. So they know how to dance around things when it's awkward and uncomfortable. So I'm
I
not
would do it
discrediting
now
that.
because
very
quickly you'll have the play-in games, the playoffs will start, all of that. The shift will turn to the draft lottery. Do it now.
I chuckle at the idea that NBA teams who have won NBA championships are firing coaches, and we needed a head coach to go along with the tank this year, and we had a head coach who didn't go along with the tank because we refused to fire him because we didn't want to pay his buyout because we didn't want to fork up whatever it was, $5 million for a year to say thanks for your services, and then he wins too many games, and now we got to be stuck in limbo about is he going to be the coach next year? Is he getting an extension? It's going to linger into the offseason. One of the reasons that these teams are doing it, and I've seen people advocate for why it makes sense to fire a GM, is that, like, dude, the lottery's in a month. The draft is
your
in 2
workouts
months.
need to
Like,
be scheduled.
it's coming up. So if you don't think the GM is the answer, like, move on now.
So I think the coach is the one that surprised me. Of
the
like
coach
right,
is the bigger
right
deal
now,
because it's the playoffs.
Yeah, right.
And somebody's saying that this season the exit interviews are immediately after the game on Sunday, and they
Okay,
work
I
for
remember-
they work for the Trailblazers in the games.
No, that,
okay.
yeah.
So it's
I thought
right
I
after
saw
the game.
Danny say something about that,
Oh,
but I
okay.
couldn't remember exactly. So right after, we're gonna see what they do. I'm fascinated to see it, to hear it.
Because you're not firing him before the
Well,
last game of the season. There's
okay.
no intel that that's going to happen. So he's just
We're way over. I got to ask you this though.
yeah.
You're a Blazer fan.
Yes.
You want to see the Blazers do well, despite what your public criticisms have been at times.
I want nothing more than them to be successful.
Right. If they don't, like, if Mike Malone and Taylor Jenkins, they need them to want us too. But if it comes out and they have who they want to hire and it ain't one of those two, like, those are the two biggest names on the market, right?
The most
Yes.
accomplished coaches on the market.
Of note, at least, that
Yes.
we know of. I'm sure there's an assistant that insiders know about, but I'm just kind of curious to watch how all that goes. Is it a guy internally, they're like, it's yours, or is it a super open thing and they go, Taylor Jenkins, you did a great job with a young, great Memphis team and it didn't work out. Why don't you come and coach the next great young Western Conference team and guide us back to the playoffs and hopefully glory?
Yeah, it's going to be a bit of an issue, I think, for the majority of the fan base if they close it up and just say we handpicked our guy. I think fans would largely have an issue with.
Well, I don't know how you wouldn't, to be
There are
honest.
a co-
with
look,
you.
and
You
I-
should
look,
be questioning that.
Coaching in the NBA is what, like, Mike Malone won an NBA championship because he had the best player in the league on his team.
100%.
That's like Steve Kerr.
Rosters are the most important.
Roster
Yes.
and the GM
We
is
know
the
that.
most important thing, but there are also little things that coaches can do, and they are proven winners, and they are proven X's and O's guys.
Mm-hmm.
They know what they're doing, and if you're hiring a complete unknown, a guy who's never been a head coach before,
Mm-hmm.
you're just saying, "Hey, trust us." Which I don't know why there'd be a lot of that right now.